Hello, welcome to this Monday's MYM movement. My name is Annette, and each Monday I show you an exercise that either releases, activates, or some combination of both, using the powerful tool of somatic awareness so that you have a true feeling sense of the baseline of how your body is showing up so that you can improve your movement patterns. So today I'm going to do an awareness exercise that's going to dovetail on the release exercise that we did last Monday. So if you haven't seen the one from last Monday, I invite you to click back on my Facebook page and find that video. So the reason for the release exercise we did last week, as I identified in last week's video, is when we're releasing this area of our body, which is where the lumbar and the thoracic spine, or the low back and the middle back spine meet, in what we call that kidney space. We release that, and the importance of that is our posterior diaphragm, so our primary breathing muscle. If it moves more fully and expansively, we can actually open up this area of the body, and it improves our stability profoundly. Because we have a complementary action between our lower abdominals, our pelvic floor, and our diaphragm. And so when we minimize the ability to move into that, what we call the thoracolumbar junction there, we are diminished in our capacity to truly move our diaphragm. And there's a trade-off when we're breathing, exhaling, inhaling. When we have less engagement in our lower abdominals, then we have more fullness in our breathing. And when we increase the fullness of our breathing, when we don't have as much activation of the lower abdominals, the bracing effect of having that full diaphragmatic breath creates the stability along our spine. And so breathing effectively is actually one of the most profound stabilizers you can utilize. So we're going to do just an awareness exercise today, which you can do either seated on the floor, seated in a chair, or lying on your back. The advantage of doing this in a seated position, either on the floor or in a chair, is that you have the vertical orientation of your spine to allow you to feel the potential stabilizing effects from the breath a bit more. The advantage of doing it on the floor is that you'll have a little bit more feedback coming into the back of your body through its connection to the floor. And I invite you to potentially try either one, but knowing what you may need more awareness, or more initial awareness of where you need to be connected to, or if you really need that awareness, the stability right off, then upright is a really good choice. So I invite you to close your eyes for this, as is often very helpful when we take out our visual input. We can tune into the other senses more acutely, and we can access the feeling that I'm asking you to make a connection with. So choose your position, close your eyes, and then first tune into your exhaling breath. So really just start to notice the exhaling phase of your breathing. And begin to lengthen that out. So you're exhaling at a count of 4 or 5, and just starting to move towards that longer exhale. And as you intentionally lengthen the exhale, we're not trying to force, we're just being really aware of the slow pacing. And as you do that, start to notice you may feel a little more activation in the pelvic floor and the low belly. And as you access that slower pace, then start to notice your inhale. So as you inhale, notice where the breath is moving. As the inhale naturally becomes a little more expansive in response to the complete release of your exhale. And notice where your inhaling breath is moving into. And as you maintain that length to your exhale, allowing the inhaling breath to be really responsive and expansive, start to notice if you are bringing more fullness into the back of your body, where that low back and that middle back meet. And I want you simply to be aware of that physical space of your body, so that your inhaling breath is not so much forced into the space, but more invited into the space. And so toggling back and forth between the awareness of the length of your exhale, the awareness of the breath movement, just by inviting into this physical space of your body where the low back and the middle back meet, so that you can invite the breath into the space. Continuing the cycle of exhaling slow. On your inhale, allowing yourself to connect to the feeling place of your body where your low back and your middle back meet. And as you continue to cycle in this rhythmic breath, and we start to match the inhale to pace even with our exhale, and just start to notice if the breath is beginning to move more fully into that space between low back and middle back. And as you start to notice that pacing becoming more even and a little more connection to even just the slightest bit of expansion or increased expansion into that low and middle back space, just start to notice the sensations along your spine. Any shifted feelings, and you may identify with a feeling of increased stability or bracing or strength. You may not. You may simply connect to a feeling that just feels different than what you were experiencing before. And all of that is a shift. But allow yourself to feel what you're experiencing back there and just notice the difference in the way your spine feels. And of course, you're very likely feeling a sense of increased calm as well. And so the beauty of that is when we have access to our breath through the awareness of the connection to our physical body and the calm, but yet we have that complementary breathing and stability with diaphragm and low belly, we start to experience a lot more stability, a lot more bracing along the length of our spine. So open your eyes if you have not already. And I invite you to really practice this connection feeling. Again, it's really, really important because faulty breathing patterns is definitely one of the major contributors to people's instability. Very, very important, very significant. So if this video helped you and you'd like to see more, please subscribe in my YouTube to my YouTube channel, and feel free to interact with me, any questions or any insights you've had. Thank you so much for being here.
If you liked my video, please hit the subscribe button below. It helps me to continue to serve you and others.